When did you have your surgery? 19 what? Do you remember? Or 2000 and what? Do you remember?
2003?
2003? Or was it?
When did I have my surgery, Glenn? 2003?
2004.
2004. What month?
November.
I don't remember.
November 2004. Did you receive any kind of counseling in general before your surgery?
Well, I received a lot of counseling about, food and, eating and...
Did they say anything about alcohol at that time before you had the surgery?
They did say that you shouldn't drink because of the calories. It's just empty calories.
Afterwards, what kind of counseling did you get afterwards?
Mostly just, what to eat, what not to eat.
Did they have groups or any kind of thing like that?
They did.
Post-op groups?
It was groups.
Uh-huh.
But, they didn't say anything about alcohol except, calories.
Before you had your surgery, what was your drinking like? What kind of drinking did you do? Why? What did you like? What didn't you like?
Well, I definitely, would have, wine on Sundays, party on Fridays with friends, things like that, but, not alcoholically.
You had quite a tolerance for alcohol, probably because you were so large.
Yes, I did. Always have.
Yeah, your BMI was something like 40 or something like that, right? Yeah, so you could drink a lot without it affecting you a lot. And your husband drank?
Yes. About the same as I did.
Yeah. Let's go back to counseling. When they were counseling you, did they take family history of alcoholism and stuff like that?
No.
No family history of that. But you do have a family history of alcoholism.
Absolutely.
What about your siblings? Now you only have you have half siblings, right?
Correct.
And there's 2 sisters and a brother.
Correct.
Okay, what is their drinking like?
My sister, one of my sisters is an alcoholic.
Uh-huh.
And then one brother is an alcoholic.
Uh-huh. So you would be classed as pretty high risk for alcoholism.
Correct.
Yeah, and they didn't investigate that.
No.
Didn't ask for your family history or anything like that.
No.
Let's go back to drinking, your drinking. So they advised you not to drink, and that was for calorie purposes. How long did you follow that recommendation?
I think I followed that for a couple years. Was it 2 years?
That I have a hard time remembering.
I think it was 2 years.
Now you said before we were videoing, you have this recollection of the first time you drank post-surgery, and this was at a birthday party at a restaurant.
Yes.
And you had a glass of wine.
Correct.
Tell me what that experience was like.
I felt, I was drunk. And that was it. I didn't feel very well.
At that time, did your drinking change at all? Right at that, from that point, did you?
Absolutely.
How so?
I was a cheap drunk. I thought, I can go have a glass of wine and that's, it's going to save me tons of money. And then...
Always a practical girl.
Yes. And then I started feeling a compulsion.
Can you describe, I know that's really hard to describe, but can you describe it as well as you can? What that means to you, a compulsion to drink?
You want to drink and you can't stop until you either get ill or I mean, until you get ill, actually.
Now, did it start right after that glass of wine, or was there some latency period in between where you...
There was a latency period, but, you know, it just kept progressing.
kept progressing?
And progressing.
Now, what's your situation now, right now?
I need a liver transplant.
And that's because?
I've drank so much
That your liver has
that
failed.
my liver has failed, yeah.
And without a liver transplant, you'll die.
Exactly. And
Your obsessive drinking, we've now traced to about the start of 2009. And right now we're in March of 2011. And how long have you been in the hospital?
3 months.
Now, at any time, you say, or you said recently, that you were not aware of the risk that you were under with this drinking. Did anyone ever talk to you about the sort of immediate risk that you were under?
No.
And I take it you were aware of that risk, but you associate it with long-term chronic alcoholism.
Yes.
So you didn't say when you were drinking, I'm risking my liver here.
No.
On the 20th, they put her into the ER, the 20th of December, 2010.
Yeah.
And she was in intensive care for 3 days, as I remember.
The ER, I mean, yeah, ER and then to the intensive.
Yeah,
ICU,
from the ER into
to
intensive
ICU,
care.
Yeah,
Then-
right, that's what I was saying.
And then you've been in the hospital since then, and it's
Correct.
now March 12th.
12th,
today.
13th today. Sunday.
Is it the
Yeah.
13th?
Yeah.
Yes.
And
So,
tomorrow.
and there's no expectation for you to leave the hospital yet.
No.
And now your plan is to get on a list for a liver transplant,
If I'm lucky enough.
if you're lucky enough, and that's the only cure for what you have. As you know, hepatorenal syndrome, which is end-stage liver disease, which then affects your kidneys, and your kidneys start to shut down. Generally, if you have a liver transplant, the kidneys come back, but that's what's keeping you sick now. Can you describe what your state is, what your life is like now?
I don't have a life now.
What is your day like? What do you do? What happens to you during the day?
I watch TV. I'm nauseated most of the time. Anxiety. I'm 43 years old. I'm afraid of death, like
Mhm.
most people.
Yeah.
And that's my day.
Well, you have a lot of procedures too, right?
Oh, I get lots of, now I am now getting, what do you call it?
Dialysis,
Dialysis.
kidney dialysis,
And,
and then they do this. What's the name, Tom, for drawing the fluid from her?
Paracentesis.
Paracentesis for the ascites associated with your failed liver, and you have a catheter for urine, right?
tons of meds,
And everything in an attempt to keep you alive long enough to get a liver.
Just had 2 transfusions today.
Yeah, and just had 2 transfusions today. So you're pretty sick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm as soon as you-
This is a
yeah.
really stupid question, but if you had to do it all over again, would you get your bariatric surgery?
No. No, I wouldn't. Absolutely not.
And this has come as pretty much a surprise to you.
Yes. Had they counseled me on that, I just wouldn't have done it. It's not worth it.